Hey, what is up, y'all? Happy almost Halloween. Let me just make sure that we are good to go on the stream. Welcome, welcome. I see a couple people here. So today we are going to be talking about how to get your first or next high-ticket AI automation client. And I'm trying to balance this with while reading comments on my phone, so bear with me. Okay, there we go. There's just a little bit of a lag. Sorry for the delay. All right, so go ahead and say hi if you are here watching live, and I'll try to keep up with the comments, like I said, on my phone. Good morning to you, sir. But I'm really excited to share some of the stuff that has worked really well for me. I feel like getting your first AI automation client, like your first paying client, it's like earning your first dollar online. Like once you hit that first dollar, that first client, everything opens up from there, and you start to learn what works and what doesn't really quickly. And so I just want to share kind of some of the key stuff that has helped me and walk you through, because it's not just a set of behaviors, it's also kind of an identity shift or like a paradigm shift in your mind. So I just want this to be really valuable and for you to understand, like walk away from this with what actions you can take today so that you can increase your odds of getting your first high ticket AI automation client. And good morning from Chicago. I love it. All right, so let's just dive in. All right. So I read I don't know if y'all know who Stephen G. Pope is. He's a just absolute savage when it comes to AI and automation. He has a huge YouTube channel. Highly recommend going and subscribing. But I screenshotted something that he posted today because it really encapsulated the difference between struggling to find a client because you have all these great ideas, or you could build these really cool systems, but you just can't land a client. And the difference between that and, being able to scale a business that gives you financial freedom, whether that's wanting to leave your 9-to-5 or just add an extra stream of income so your spouse can quit their job, or, whatever the case is. But he said this. So he was talking to like a builder, basically. And he said, this guy's smart. He knows his stuff. He, is a master of N8N and make.com and all these different things. But when I asked how many people he talked to last week about his business, he said 0. Here's the truth. If you're building a business, stop obsessing over tools and platforms. Track this instead. How many real people did you talk to today? Real conversations. So I feel like that is kind of my philosophy on how you can go about getting your first client. Is it going to be kind of uncomfortable? Absolutely. But it gets easier over time. And the reason being is you become better, you become more skilled, you become more competent. And so it's not that the task of going out and finding people and talking to them becomes easier, you become better. So I just want to instill that in you, that it might feel uncomfortable at first. It might feel a little scary. You might feel stupid, like, oh, what if they say no? Yeah, what if they say no? You don't lose anything, but what if they say yes? Okay, so basically this is going to be a training that's dedicated to getting that first or next $1,000 plus AI automation client so that you can go from, whether you're a builder or a freelancer. So I categorize a builder as somebody who knows the technical stuff. They have all the skills, but they just aren't landing clients or aren't doing so consistently. Or a freelancer who's somebody that's getting paid by the hour, maybe $50 an hour on platforms like Upwork. So you're always having to go out and pitch new clients, get on calls with them, try to compete with 20 other people on Upwork. and always on that hamster wheel of trying to find the next client. So this is how you break out of that. And his name is Stephen G. Pope. Stephen is with a PH. Yeah, there you go. But I highly recommend following him. He knows what he's doing in terms of AI and automations, and he knows what he's doing in terms of running a business. So, all right. So let's dive in. So like I was saying, like I started off, it was actually $45 an hour, freelance gigs on Upwork. And I think I've told this story before, but the very first Upwork gig I landed turned into a $4,000 project, which you might think, wow, that's a lot of money and cool, like cool. But the reality is, when I look back at what I built for this guy, this client, over the course of a couple months, it was easily like a $20,000 project. But because he hired me on this platform to just do what I was told, to just build what he told me to build, I was just the hired help. And so rather than getting to approach it from the perspective of a consultant, where I look at what he's trying to accomplish holistically, make recommendations, and then be like that quarterback or that air traffic controller for the project, and then deliver something that is detailed and scoped and addresses all the problems that he probably didn't even realize that he had, I just got paid by the hour. And so that was a big wake-up call for me, that instead of getting paid by the hour, I could go out and deliver these high-ticket systems for what they were worth. So in other words, if I'm increasing the value of a business because I've made them more efficient, or I make them systematically more capable of generating more money, then I get a piece of that ROI, and that is reflected in the price of the project. So, anyway, so the struggle is with the freelancing, or if you're not even at that stage, is just in where you are building stuff that you know is cool, that solves a problem, but you're not talking to anyone. Like, you're not getting it out there for people to see and to have visibility so that people know you have something that they want. And so I think the biggest reason why most builders struggle is they don't have proof. You know, like, I didn't have proof that I could build a $20,000 system. And so it would have been risky for that guy to hire me and say, hey, build this thing. I'm not going to give you any instruction. Just, this is what I want it to do. It would have been risky for him to hire me for a project of that caliber, because I had no proof. I hadn't built anything before where I could show these were the before and after results from a system that I built. This is the real world outcome that I was able to deliver. And so that's like the biggest thing. Like, builders and builders, especially, like you don't have proof that you can deliver on a specific outcome to a business. So if they were to hire you, that's really risky for them, because it's kind of just like, oh yeah, trust me, bro, I know what I'm doing. And so you're stuck in the hamster wheel, if you're a freelancer, of always having to compete against other people on Upwork or whatever platform, Fiverr, because there's nothing to differentiate you from every other person out there. And so I wanted to include this. This is a real screenshot right here on the right from an Upwork client. And just, it's kind of insane to me looking back on it now, but it's a $100 budget. It was a fixed rate project. But basically they had workflows in place, and they just wanted me to come in and make them work. They said it was like 90% done. They just needed somebody to like get it to work. Okay. First of all, red flag. If you ever encounter someone who's like, yeah, we have it 80 to 90% done, we just need you to come in and like connect everything. Red flag. Do not take that client. I promise it is never worth it. They always overestimate how capable they are, and they underestimate how much more work there is to do to actually get it up and running. Think of it like this. If a client says it's 90% done, it would be 100% done. Like, if they were actually that good at building some system out that they could get it to a 90% completion, they would go ahead and finish it fully. But they have an idea of what they want. They barf it out into N8N or whatever platform, and then they want somebody to come fix it. So if you ever hear that it's almost done, we just need this, it's a red flag. Don't take that client. But this is the difference between like that freelancer mentality and the clients that are hiring freelancers versus a consultant. That's a good question. So someone asked, if you're a full beginner, should you start on Upwork and platforms like that? That's a great question. And we'll talk more about that. You can definitely start on a platform like Upwork, because the thing that's great about that is it's very structured. So there's a process that you can follow. You can still get paid. So you're getting to earn as you learn. And it's a really great source of like market research. In other words, to see what people are actually paying for or willing to pay for to have built. And so like that's another thing where builders kind of get stuck sometimes, is they're building things that they think are cool, but actually have no real world utility. So if you're out, and that goes back to exactly what Stephen G. Pope was talking about, if you're going out and talking to real business owners, getting in conversations with them, or going where they hang out, and we'll talk about more about this in just a sec. But if you're going into school communities or Facebook groups or wherever where they're hanging out and reading about the things they're complaining about, or seeing the questions that they're asking or the problems that they're talking about, that's real data for you. That's real market research. And now you can go step away and create a solution for it that's based on real world business problems. And that allows you to generate proof. Yeah, we want to shift from freelancer identity to authority builder. Exactly. And so what I included here, it's redacted because I didn't want to give any info about the client away, but this was the first actual consulting client that I had. And so what was included on this project was my Upwork project that was $4,000 that I was just talking about. That was about 80 hours of work, and that was $4,000. This project for this proposal that I sent was, I think, 20 to 25 hours of work, and it was a $6,000 project. So just basically integrating their CRM with Airtable, creating a lead dashboard in Airtable, a lead response interface. So basically some automation so that they can communicate with leads through Airtable, onboard, like train it was a family farm, but onboard their family members who were like the, other decision makers in the business, create a referral tracker, which was done in Airtable, create a voice agent, and then some training stuff, like some training items, 30 days of support, onboarding and training, walkthrough videos, that kind of a thing. But like I said, it was about 25 hours of work, and it was a $6,000 project. So vastly different. And one thing I want to note is where I found this client was speaking at an event. Hey, Enrique. Consultants speak at events, whether that's at a Chamber of Commerce event. I spoke at the AI Insight Summit, or the Central California Women's Conference, which I feel like I'm still recovering from, which was a little over a month ago. But consultants speak at events because they have thought leadership. They're not passively waiting for direction. They're the ones providing it. And so that's how I found this client. And then I got her on a call and I was like, okay, tell me everything about your business. Like, where are there holes? Where are there gaps? What's falling through the cracks? Where are you trying to go from here? And then diagnosed it like a doctor. What are your symptoms? Okay, let's go ahead and prescribe you these things to fix that set of problems that you're having. And so that's just kind of like a comparison between a freelancer and that authority builder, just like somebody said in the comments. One more thing that I want to highlight, and I know I just mentioned this at the beginning, but the freelancer is trading their time for money. It's custom work every time. That means like every single project you're having to start from scratch, not just with finding the client and pitching them and closing them, but with whatever they want built. It's custom every time because they're approaching you, not you approaching them. And so what is really vastly different for a consultant is you're selling outcomes and not your time. So you're saying, I can generate you this result or this outcome guaranteed because I've done it for these 10 people and here's the results that I've gotten for them. And that's how I can command higher prices. That's why I can say this is a $6,000 project, because I know for a fact that I can deliver you these results because I've done it before. So I hope that difference makes sense, because that's a huge shift. And it all goes back to what we were talking about, which is proof. When you can prove that you can deliver something because you've done it before for other businesses, that's like the biggest asset you can have that's going to help you step into that next level. Okay. Another thing that it was so serendipitous for me to read that post by Stephen G. Pope this morning. But another thing he talks about is like focusing only on the tech. Business owners don't care about the technology that you use, generally speaking. They don't care if you're using N8N or Make.com or Claude Code, or if you're coding it yourself. They really don't. They only care that it solves their problems and delivers the result that they're after. So that's like one mistake. If you're reaching out, let's say you are sending a cold email sequence, or you're reaching out to people in the DMs, or you're sending manual cold emails to people with like a custom Loom video, and you're saying, hey, Bob, like, I think I can get you this result. If I don't, then, you don't pay, whatever. But a big mistake is saying, hey, I built this really cool system with ChatGPT and it uses Claude Code and then it talks to N8N. Don't include any of that. They do not care. They only want to know, what is the bottom line for their business? How is it going to benefit them? So the less you can say when you're reaching out to people, just keep it to a minimum, like maybe one sentence that establishes your credibility. Shift everything else to you. Like, this is the result I will get for you. This is how your business will improve. This is the impact that it's going to have for you. So don't focus on the tech. Mistake number 2, selling tasks or selling your time versus selling outcomes. So when you're selling tasks, so workflows, if you're selling a workflow, if you've never met me before in your life, I'm, Jane Doe, and I'm offering to sell you a workflow as a business, I could have just gotten that from, some school community, or found it on YouTube and downloaded it and said it's mine. So a workflow feels really like risky for a business to purchase from you. And that's why it's priced lower. It doesn't speak to the actual business problems. It's just saying, hey, I built this thing that does this thing. It's not addressing like the business as a whole. It's not guaranteeing a specific result. It's not pointing to other instances where I've sold this exact same system and it's worked for all these other people. And so you're selling your time instead of certainty. Businesses want certainty and they're willing to pay for it. It's kind of like if you were buying a wedding dress, or maybe this is a weird analogy because I know a lot of people that watch my content are dudes. But like, if you're buying a wedding dress, or if you're buying a car, do you want the cheapest, like if you're taking a road trip across the United States, let's say, which is like 3,000 plus miles. So you're going from California to like New York. Do you want the cheapest car, or do you want the car that's not going to break down and that's going to get you from point A to point B? So you're probably willing to pay a little bit more to have that certainty, right? Or if, using the wedding dress analogy, like you want a wedding dress that's going to be guaranteed to look good, that's going to be high quality, and that's not going to like fall apart or get a hole in it or something the day of your wedding. And so selling tasks is just selling your time. Selling outcomes is selling certainty. And that's what businesses really want, is that guaranteed outcome. So they want a guarantee or certainty. They want proof that your system will solve their problems and deliver that measurable result. That's it, like, period. And I know we were just talking about proof, and I was saying the importance of proof. You need, I would say, one piece of proof to use as leverage. So if you're waiting to be good enough or smart enough or enough, whatever, having enough proof, like you don't need 10 paid clients to get your first client. Like if you had to get a paid client, if that was the barometer or the measure of whether or not a client would hire you, no one would have ever hired anyone for anything in the history of the world, because they wouldn't have been able to get that first client. So it's not about having a paid client. That's not the proof that businesses care about. What they care about is the measurable result. And so you are probably never going to feel ready. You just need to take the action and then the feeling of readiness will come afterwards. So when you're able to say, I've gotten this result before, and I think I can do the same or better for you, or else you just don't pay, that's really powerful. Like you're saying, I've done this thing for you, or I've done this thing for another business, and I think I can do it for you too. I'm so confident in that you just won't pay if I don't deliver that result. That takes almost all of the risk off the business. I say almost because there's still time and effort on the business's part to engage with you, provide you with the assets that you need, logins, platform credentials, that kind of a thing. So there is still a little bit of time risk for them. But when you're looking at it from a business owner's perspective, okay, if I gamble with this much time for this random person that just reached out to me, I could get this much payoff according to what they're telling me because they've generated this result for this other business. So I'm willing to take that trade-off. That's how you get in the door. And that's how you can start to build additional proof and get that money in. Like this is all about getting your first or next $1,000 client. So even if you reach out and you offer to do the work for first, sorry, I've had a lot of caffeine this morning. Even if you reach out to a business and you say, hey, I've gotten this result before for a business, I would like to do this for free for you just to get you to trust me because I want to work with you long-term. Even if you say that and they don't even pay you at all for the first month, but you deliver the result, I guarantee you will have a retainer or subscription client going forward. Like maybe guarantee is a strong word, but I would say if you're delivering something for a business owner that they want and need, they're not going to turn around and be like, haha, I was just trying to get the free month out of you. Like if you're delivering something that makes them more profitable, saves them time, generates more revenue for them, or saves them money, they're not going to just be like, okay, well, that was nice to have for a month, but I'm going to go back to my old way where I'm wasting time and wasting money. Like they're going to keep you on. And now let's say they're paying you $250 every month as a subscription going forward for as long as it keeps working for them. Now you can start to stack those over time and be like, hey, if you tell your other business owner buddies about this, I'll knock $50 off for every new client you send my way. They're like, I know a bunch of people. I'll send you 5 new clients and then I'll be paying nothing. And you're like, yeah, that's accurate. Because wouldn't you rather have 5 new clients paying $250 each, which is $1,250? Wouldn't you rather have that over $250 from one client and not giving them that option to refer people to for a discount? So what I'm saying is you don't need anything other than your first bit of proof to get started. And you can earn that in a number of different ways. So like going back to the mistakes that people make, technology does not equal trust. And selling is really just serving. It's about figuring out what their most painful problems are and solving them. And like almost obsessively knowing about the problem, like looking at it from every angle to the point where it's obsession and you almost know it better than them so that you can figure out how to best serve them. And that's when people pay you. So rather than focusing on like shoving your products and services down someone's throat, focus on delivering value to them. Like I can't even tell you enough times how important this is. If you lead with value and give something to someone for free, no strings attached, then it will always lead to good things. Maybe they won't become a paying client, but they will refer someone to you. But I promise you, it always will work out in your favor. Okay. So this is how I would categorize like the 3-step client pathway. So how to get your first or next handful of clients. Build once and show proof. So create your first system for free or cheap, and then showcase compelling results. And I included this image of real things that I've built for real businesses. I think actually all 3 of these were from my 9-to-5. So that's another thing. If you are working a 9-to-5, look around and find a problem. I'm sure there are many, and solve that problem and then document it. It's that easy. It doesn't have to be for, some client that you don't know. You could do it at your 9 to 5. You could do it for somebody in your warm network, meaning somebody you know or like casually know that's a colleague or acquaintance, or someone that they know. So leverage your warm networks, warm network. But the point is you're doing it to build the proof. And that can be like a video that you create where you're walking through the before and after. This is what the business was like before. This is how they were struggling. They were losing 10 leads a month. This is what I built. This is how it works after. If you can get a video testimonial from the client, that's fantastic. I got a video testimonial from my old boss when I was working at my 9 to 5. So it can be your manager, it can be your boss, it can be whoever it is that's actually using the system, but that's just going to give you that additional credibility and authority. And then talk about outcomes. So if you're reaching out to someone on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, and like hint, go where your people hang out. So if you're like, let's say you're targeting a small home services type niche, they're going to be on Facebook and Instagram because that's where their leads will reach out to them. They're probably not going to so much be on LinkedIn. They'll more so be on like platforms like Facebook and Instagram. But you can reach out, and it might even be the business owner checking the social media and say, hey, like, you know, something where it's personalized, like, hey, Bob, I see you guys are doing spray foam insulation. I actually just had that done on my chimney and it's made such a huge difference. So I actually built an AI voice agent for an insulation company that calls their Angie leads immediately as soon as they come through. And it added an additional $116,000 of revenue for that business. I'm confident that I can get that result or something better for you. Otherwise, you don't pay. Is this something you're interested in? Like just something as simple as that. So you want to start off, make it personalized so it doesn't read like it's a copy and paste template. Acknowledge something about the business, relate it back to you, and then talk about the result you got for another business, how it solves your prospective client's potential issue that they're having, and then offer that I'm confident I can get you that same result or better, or you don't pay. You work insulation? That's so funny. And then, like I said, pitch without sleaze. Like that pitch, does that pitch sound sleazy? I don't think so. I feel like it sounds like, hey, I got this result for this person. I think I could do the same for you. Are you interested? Like it's not being fake. It's not being disingenuous. It's saying, I have this solution that I think you might want. Are you interested in talking about it? Then you could get on a call with them and talk through, okay, so tell me about how many Angie leads are you getting every month? How many are not getting called right away? Oh, all of them? So you're getting 20 Angie leads a month and their office staff is not calling them back till like 4 hours later. That's crazy because research shows that if you call a lead within 60 seconds of when they submitted interest, like submitted a web form or a request to your business, you multiply, like it's 4 times as likely or 400% as likely that you're going to close that person versus if you wait 5 minutes or more. Anyway, so how do you actually get this proof? Step 1, show your proof. Start with your warm network, people you know, people they know. Build internally, like at a 9 to 5 or for a friend, even within your own 9 to 5 or on platforms like Upwork. Showcase it compellingly with screenshots, Loom videos, test results, like before and after type of setup. You want to make it crystal clear, the contrast between what the business looked like before and what it looks like now. And talk about specific measurable numbers. Like I said, if they were getting 20 Angie leads a month and they were only converting 2, and now after implementing your AI voice agent that contacts those leads immediately, they're closing 18, or they're at least getting 18 to an appointment, then you can talk about the percentage increase and the revenue increase as a result of the system that you built, like that direct result. Then step 2, sell with clarity. So identify your go-to offer. It could be a voice agent. It could be like a CRM system add-on, a booking bot, but something that you can productize and reuse each time with only a little bit of customization. So that's what I talk about when I say like productizing or semi-productizing your offer, is getting it to where it's reusable. Like an AI voice agent is such a good example of this, because you can reuse so much of an AI voice agent and then just change a little bit of the system instructions. But the point is that you want it to be faster and easier for you to deliver the outcome to the business, because it's like, that's your bread and butter. You know what I mean? And like I keep saying, you want to talk about the outcomes. So focus on the results, whether it's generating a $10,000 extra in monthly revenue, booking 10 more appointments, saving 12 hours weekly, whatever the case is. But you want to be able to articulate that clearly. And it's not about the technology, it's about the outcome. Do I teach how to build these systems? Yes, I have a bunch of them on my YouTube channel, and I think also in my school community. And then number 3, pitch without sleaze. Like, I am a huge believer in not hard selling or being manipulative when you sell. It just makes it so much less stressful for you and for the business owner. And it just makes your reputation that much better, because you're not seen as like that person that's just cutthroat and out to get money. But what I highly recommend to everyone watching is to get on YouTube, solve problems in communities, but be consistently visible. Like I was just talking about this, or I made a video about this the other day, but it's like dating. So if you just stay in your house building things with N8N all day, and you're looking for like a long-term partner, you're never going to find one, because you're not meeting anyone. Like, you're not leaving your house to go meet people. So you have to make yourself visible by getting on YouTube, being active in online communities, or going to networking events, or whatever the case is, posting on LinkedIn. But if people don't know you exist, you could have the best product in the world or the best system in the world, and nobody's ever going to hire you because they just don't know about you. So make yourself visible. And these are the ways that I highly recommend, especially YouTube. And then start conversations. Just like Stephen G. Pope said, it's not about the cool stuff that you build. It's about how many actual humans that you're talking to. So use DMs, use content, like I said, local networking, Facebook groups, school communities, LinkedIn groups, to spark genuine connections, to offer no strings attached value to people, and good things will happen. What would be an example of a good pitch? Basically, the one I just gave about AI voice agents. So, hey, insulation company, notice you're doing spray foam. I just had my chimney spray foamed. It's working out great. Hey, quick question. So I just built an AI voice agent for this other insulation company, that whole thing. But where you're walking through your proof and then offering it to them with a money back guarantee. So this is once you have that proof, this is how I would say would be like an easy way to get your message in front of a bunch of people at scale. Personalized cold email outreach. And I have a video about this. If you haven't seen it, I think it's like maybe 1 or 2 videos back on my YouTube channel. But this is how you can get your message in front of thousands of people with personalized cold email that feels human and is relevant to that business. So cold email converts like 1%. Personalized cold email, just like I gave you that personalized example DM that I would send to like an insulation company about a voice agent, that converts up to 6 to 10 times higher. So it's definitely a numbers game. Like, it's definitely a volume game. But if you, let's say you reach out to 5,000 people via cold email with not personalized cold email, where you're just copying and pasting a template, you might get 50 responses. Of that, maybe half will be qualified. And then from there, let's say you have a 40% close rate, so you might get 10 people. Now let's look at that same 5,000 people, but instead of 1%, it's 6%. So you might get 300 responses, Of that, 150 might be qualified. And then if you have that same close rate, you might get 60 paid clients. Obviously, I'm not guaranteeing any results, but what I'm saying is like there's a night and day difference between personalized cold email and templated spam cold email. So yeah, you can check out the personalized cold email outreach workflow that I built. I think it's 1 or 2 videos back. And then ask the right questions, like prescribe like a doctor. You're making a diagnosis. You're not there to be like, hey, I just used this example the other day, but let's say you're Dr. A. So a patient comes in and Dr. A is like, okay, tell me what's going on. Okay, so you have a runny nose, your throat is itchy, your eyes are watery. Then they'll continue to ask some follow-up questions and then say, okay, it sounds like you might have allergies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prescribe you an antihistamine. I want you to take it for a couple days, and then I'm going to check back with you and see if you've improved. Versus that's Dr. A. Now, Dr. B is like, oh my gosh, I just found a top 100 medications list on ChatGPT. They're all so cool. So I built an automation with N8N to give me like 10 random ones. And so I'm going to prescribe those to you because I'm really proud of this workflow. Would you rather have Dr. A or Dr. B? So that's what I say, like prescribe like a Dr. A and not like a Dr. B who's just talking about Claude Code and N8N workflows and stuff that the patient doesn't care about. The patient has symptoms and they want you to figure out what the issue is so that you can tell them what's wrong and how to fix it. And so asking questions like, what platforms are you currently using? What have you already tried to solve this problem? How is this impacting other areas of your business? How is this impacting your business financially? Like how much money are you losing from this? Or how much more money could you be making if this problem was resolved? So on and so forth. But you want to understand it like better than the business owner does. Because there's a saying in marketing, people don't buy when they understand, meaning they don't buy when they understand what you're selling. They buy when they feel understood. And so by asking these really like thorough questions and getting to the root of what the problem is for the business owner, they will feel seen, heard, and understood. And that's when people buy, not when they understand Claude Code to the nth degree. They don't care about that. All right. So to go from builder, where you are the N8N master that Stephen G. Pope talked about, that's where you're selling your time, or maybe not even selling anything at all because you're not getting in front of people. You go from there to consultant, and that's where you're selling outcomes and certainty, which is what businesses want. And then you can become a client magnet where clients are seeking you out for those proven results. And that's what Stephen G. Pope is, not to like make this whole live about him, but he has like this thriving YouTube channel, a thriving school community. That dude just gives away so much free value that clients, they literally seek him out. Like, do you think that he's out there having to send cold DMs? No, that's because he's made himself so visible and demonstrated his results a million times over that people come to him. And so that's what I mean when I say a client magnet. Like clients know who you are. They've heard through YouTube or communities or word of mouth or, whatever, but they are going to come seek you out. And that makes your life so much easier. Okay. Now I'm going to share, I need to stop sharing this real quick. Does anybody have any questions before I talk about this special announcement that I've been mentioning to you guys for the last week? Man, my mouth is dry. Okay. All right, y'all. So if you are still here after all that chit chat, hopefully you got value out of it. But if you're here, that tells me that you are not just interested in success, but you are ready to succeed and you're done settling for whatever the life is that you've been leading, whether that's being stressed about being in debt or wanting to quit your 9 to 5 job, or if you're like me and you just feel like I feel like I was made for more than just working a 9 to 5. Like I feel like I was made for more than that. And you're not, you're not a beginner. You have technical skills and you just need that strategy or that structure to help you get from that builder stage or that freelancer stage to that client magnet stage. Then I want you to listen to this because you're exactly who I built this 10K consultant blueprint for, which is all about landing premium clients within 90 days or less. So if you're wondering, how do I actually turn this into a real business? Let me tell you about this 90-day program that I'm launching today. So it's a 90-day mentorship experience where I'm going to work with you closely to help you package, position, and price your offer so that you can earn monthly recurring revenue and land those high-ticket AI automation clients. So, like I said, packaging your skills, landing high-ticket clients, building powerful systems that you can use on repeat and not have to do custom work every single time, but having a productized offer that allows you to do a quarter of the work but still get paid more. Like that's what it's all about. So getting paid premium rates and having that monthly recurring revenue so that you're not starting from scratch every month. But this is where I'm working with people directly to transform the skills they have into something that's actually going to make them money and make them into that high ticket AI consultant that I'm constantly talking about. So this is definitely not for like people who think this is going to be a magic bullet solution. This is going to be hard work. It's going to be gratifying and you're going to see the payoff from your hard work. But this is going to be 90 days of putting in effort, feeling uncomfortable, and doing things that are growing you and pushing you outside of your comfort zone. So whether you're the freelancer that's ready to scale or plotting your escape from your 9 to 5, which I know many of you are, and that resonates with me, obviously. But this is the bridge between that feeling like you're ready and you're willing to put in the work to, oh my gosh, I just like closed my first high ticket client, or I just closed my first retainer client. So like I said, this is not for you if you're looking for the get rich quick thing. Like I'm not going to hold your hand and spoon feed you. I'm not going to build your business for you. If you don't put in any effort, I will put in 0 effort. Like I will match your level that you put in. I'm not going to spoon feed you. I'm going to give you the information and you're expected to take that, make it your own, and run with it. But if you are hungry and coachable and ready, meaning you'll take information, think about it critically, and then put it to work, that's who this is for. So I just want to make that really clear. So this is something that absolutely has the potential to change your life, but you are going to be the catalyst of that change. I'm here as the guide. Now, if you're not ready for coaching, I just released the Proof to Profit course instead. So it basically walks through in great depth because it took me a month, maybe longer to finish, but it helps you build that proof that attracts those premium clients and then package and price your offer so that you can sell with confidence, get clients on calls, and know how to handle their objections without being sleazy, but as that expert, as that doctor, and how to sell systems that deliver results and not just hours, not just getting paid for your time. Like we're over that. So normally the course is going to be $4.99 this week only. For the next 7 days, it's going to be $3.47. And I'll have the links for both the course and if you want to book a call with me to discuss what the 90-day coaching program looks like for you. I'll have both the links in the description of this YouTube video and also in my school community as soon as this live ends. But if there's anything I want you to take away from this, and this really, again, ties back into what Stephen G. Pope said in his post, don't just do nothing. Don't keep standing still. Don't just go continue to play around in N8N and build stuff that you think is cool, but nobody gives a crap about. So do something. Take a next step. So option 1, can book your free strategy call if you want to discuss the 90-day coaching container. Or option 2, grab the course. Like I said, it's going to be linked below, and it's going to live in my school community. All right. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap up? What is the best agent to start building within social media or trade niche? I would say you would have to ask business owners. I'm assuming by best, you mean like what's something that people actually buy. So I would say talk to business owners, find out from them. Alrighty, does anybody else have any questions before we wrap up? All right. Well, thank you all for joining this live. Like I said, the links are going to be in the YouTube description down below as soon as this live ends. I will talk to you on calls, some of you. I talked to my boss the other day. Is there something that can scan off and turn it into a 3D model? I'm not sure what you're asking. I would say join my free school community and post it in there. All right, y'all. Have a lovely rest of your day. Have a good Halloween. Be safe. Eat lots of candy, and I'll catch you later.